Aloha, and welcome to All Good Things in All Good Time. Lahaina Fire update, I don't know, day something, 30th or something, 27th, I don't know. I'll count them out. As far as all the things related to the town and the fire and all that, yesterday I went up to Napili Park. They've got a great thing going there. It looks like they're just dug in for the long haul. That's going to be a continual resource center full of the best people on the planet. Whether it's there's massage therapists there giving massages. That's where I got one. There's if you have donations to give, if you want to contribute, things you've purchased at the store, or if you want to give money somewhere, that location is a place where the right things are happening. The right people are doing the right things. So, yeah, Napili Park, man, it's beautiful. S-turns, beautiful. What's going on there? Can't really talk about other places because I haven't really been to other places much. But those two places are just doing God's work. There's another one here at the Sheraton doing a great job too, I think, but I haven't really gotten in there too much. Anyway, free meals are everywhere. It's interesting to me because I'm always wondering, what are the ramifications behind the scenes? What are the rates that hotels are being paid? What are the amounts being paid to the restaurants who are making meals, free meals for people? But I believe in some cases perhaps they're being subsidized by FEMA or maybe someone else. And what are those rates for the food versus the product? Is it would that be on par, the amount of money they're receiving for each meal that they make and give away? So I'm just curious about details like that. I don't know the answers. Nobody seems to. It's weird how the National Guard and FEMA have just filled up the Westin, right? The nicest facility on the beach. There's nobody, no refugees there. Anyway, that's just weird. Mick Fleetwood came around. It's really cool what Fleetwood's did. A person there, just a saint, I think a nice lady, made a GoFundMe for all the employees of the restaurant, 130 employees. And then Mick Fleetwood donated $100,000 to that. So that was cool. He came around. I guess he hadn't talked about helping people, then didn't for a period of time. I'm not exactly sure what that is. Was it maybe 2 weeks-ish? I don't know, but I think word got back to him, or he just was slow walking his donation, whatever it was. But he's come around, and everyone appreciates his $100,000 contribution to the employees. So yeah, they all got I think a $600 payout from that, and somebody else donated $100,000 to it, so they got another payout. So that's cool. Also begs the question, darn it, has any other restaurant been so thoughtful to do that for their employees? Just create a GoFundMe for all the people from a restaurant, I don't think I've heard of that happening anywhere else. And what a good idea, right? What a good idea. What else? Lawsuits. There's ambulance chasing lawyers all over the radio, and they're talking about it on the news. And the Hawaii Bar Association has a 1-800 number to call to get your questions answered. And that's interesting. Should I be calling a lawyer to try to sue the electric company for my lost belongings? I don't know. Good question. Got no clue what the right thing to do is on that. I'm not a litigious person. The last thing I ever want to do is be in court for any reason. So, yeah, that's an interesting question that's, popping up because it's just everywhere. Local, outside huge firms are taking up ad space, saying they're associated with this other person. You know what I mean? Like they've got a pass because a local person's working with them, but they're just this huge firm just buying up, trying to get huge stuff going, big, I think, class action lawsuits going. And then local lawyers who are just like that from Oahu, their ads are up there saying, oh, there's outside people. It's like a preacher telling you never to listen to anybody from outside the church. It's like, don't listen to these people, these lawyers from the mainland. You can't trust them, but you can trust us. It's just interesting, right? Red Cross finally got through their bureaucracy to get, they've been giving everybody $1,400. I got that. That's cool. I feel Scouts got that $700 a couple weeks ago, so that's how much I've received in help. Still, I applied for it, never got that United Way money. I don't know, maybe it's still coming. So haven't got anything from anybody else. FEMA probably is they're like an insurance company that's looking for reasons to not help, right? It's instead of looking for reasons to help, giving people the benefit of the doubt. They're like trying to make people prove they're paying rent. Who isn't paying rent? Why don't you just assume everyone's paying rent? Unless you can prove otherwise, assume everyone's paying rent. And what would it matter if someone was or wasn't paying rent? Their needs would still be the same right now. They would still need all the same things, no matter what that stipulation was. So why would they need to know how much your rent was? All that stuff. It's just weird. Anyway, so I'm pretty much going to give up on FEMA, and then I'm sure the SBA is going to turn me down if they haven't already, because after a divorce and the pandemic, my credit's done. But hey, if you have terrible credit, you have the best identity theft protection there is, because nobody wants to be you. Can you just imagine somebody steals your identity? They apply for a credit card, and then they get denied. And they do it again, and get denied, and denied. I don't want to be this person. Anyway, if you never thought about it, it's really bad credit is great identity theft protection. Yes, it is. All right. Oh, man, what does that word say? I can't read. Do I have glasses here? Yeah, okay, yeah, so, yeah. And then, oh yeah, but then if I had a lease, I'm going to be trying to look for one when I come back on this trip, I guess. There's a couple organizations supposedly giving people monthly money to pay rent. Maybe Oprah Winfrey's got something going. Maybe the Realtor Association. I don't have to pay rent right now, but when I get back, I'll start looking for that on the west side. It's probably going to be impossible. Although maybe I'm thinking, there could be some attrition, people moving away, creating some spaces in places, and maybe I'll get lucky. But I was also thinking I could try to get a van. That's not a bad idea. Some kind of vehicle I could sleep in at least. And then I have that kind of independence of sorts. That could be a wide variety of vehicles, obviously. So I'm about to drive across the United States of America, and one of the most awful things we have in our country is civil forfeiture. More than $4 billion a year is just stolen from honest, hardworking Americans because they're judged for having cash on them. Oh, any normal person will keep it in the bank because you can't trust banks. So why would any normal person do that, knowing you can't trust banks? And there's plenty of examples, but let's look at Texas. When the power grid went down and people were having their power bill automatically taken out of their bank account, right? If you don't know this story already, that automatic withdrawal was made every month, right? Well, they also had a stipulation that they could raise and lower the cost of energy however much they needed to in order to meet their costs. Okay, when the costs went up exorbitantly during that freeze when all those people died and Ted Cruz went to Mexico, excuse me. When that happened, they hit people's accounts for $10, $15, $20,000 for 1 month of power, cleaning people out. 15 grand, right? Because you can trust the bank to protect your money. And if somebody gets fraud over on you, the bank isn't just gonna give it to you, give it back to you. If it happens on a credit card, yeah, but on your debit card, they might just leave you hanging. And then if the state or the feds want to claim you owe them taxes, they can just go into your bank account and just yank out whatever they want, right? So it's not like safe in a bank necessarily. And there's plenty of other examples of how you could lose your money from your bank account, etc. So yeah, I have to worry about, I'm going to carry a couple grand probably to start on the trip. And at some point, I saw a cop show where a guy in Vegas just had $1,800 in his pocket in Vegas, where everybody gambles. He's like, oh, that's got to come from drugs. And he just took his money. I couldn't believe it. Anyway, and there's all those other. So yeah, like someday I'd love to go to that Maple Motors in Tennessee, get a hot rod. That'd be great. Drive it across country, ship it here, and give it to my son or share it with him until I die. And that'd be cool. Love to get one of them. Oh, if you haven't seen Maple, that's on YouTube. That's some good content. It's just a car lot of all the cars I wish I could have had. Yeah, I know it's not fashionable to want a hot rod no more, but it's a good investment. And damn, it would be cool to share one with my son. Could learn how to work on engines and stuff together and stuff. Gee whiz. All right. 11 minutes. All right. Thanks for putting up with this length of time. And watch as much South Park as I can. I want to see that Casa Bonita one because we're going to go Casa Bonita. I've never seen it. But there is one South Park that is the best, and that's the biker gang one. If you haven't seen that, that is incredibly funny. Funnier than every other one they ever made. All right. So I got 3 stories. 3 parts of the country. You're going to learn 3 things about the United States of America you might not have known. All right. So when I rode a bicycle across the United States of America, I would ask people, what is the coolest thing in this town? What's the one thing I should know? Or at that time, if I was going to try to meet a girl, where would I go to do that? Or any good place for live music, right? Things like that. So, and I just kind of collect up opinions and make my decisions based on that. And in Indiana, in Indianapolis, the Slippery Noodle came up a lot. Now, the Slippery Noodle is a famous old bar, the oldest bar in the state of Indiana, if you didn't know it. Pretty cool. But it has bullet holes in the basement that John Dillinger left there. Stuff like that. And the Slippery Noodle, it was once, I think, a brothel. I don't know much about the storied history and past of it, but there is one. And it's an interesting thing to know about if you're anywhere near Indianapolis. If I go anywhere near there on this next trip, or we go through there, we will stop there. I'll have to make a video of the oldest bar in Indiana that has bullet holes from John Dillinger. Anyway, I think it was like a blues bar when I was there 30 years ago. It's still there. Anyway, that's that. Okay, next state, Washington State. Okay, if you drive a car across the state of Washington, you might not really see any cops. I did not see any cops. It's a 70-mile-an-hour speed limit. So I crept up, First of all, that seems super fast because here it's only 45 miles an hour. So, like you're speeding when you're doing 55. So 70, I see no cops. I'm driving across the entire state with my kids, headed to the Coeur d'Alene Ironman triathlon. Trying to get there in a hurry, but just having to stop a lot, right? I got 2 kids and me. Everyone has a different schedule for bathroom breaks. I'm tired and need to take 20-minute naps constantly. We stop for food more than once, coffee. So I creep up from 73 to 75 to 80, 95, 90, and I just don't. I never see any cops the whole way, and I'm just amazed by that, right? Which gives me more confidence, stupidly, to speed more. And that's I got up to about 90, right? And I'm 15 miles from the edge of the state, and there's a trooper just going, "Hey man, pull over." So I pull over, and he comes up and says, "Son, I've been trying to catch you for, all day." Because see, what I didn't know, and you will see this if you look for it, the whole state, across the state of Washington, there's just a simple, like, pylon or whatever every mile marks. Okay. And it's a grid, right? And that's so that a plane can fly above you with a stopwatch and just go click and then determine your speed. Okay. It's apparently as simple as that. So I had no idea there was a plane judging my speed and reporting it back down to them. And every time they were setting up to catch me, like on the other side of an off ramp, I'd be taking that, or on ramp, I'd be taking the off ramp right before it. Apparently, like, I missed them 10 times. So the gentleman comes up to me, and very nice police officer, very cordial, and of course I was polite. He says, I said, "How you doing, officer?" I said, "What may I do to cooperate? How may I cooperate best?" Something to that effect. And he said, I've been trying to catch you all day, and then and he caught me speeding or whatever. I said, "How fast was I going?" He pulls out a piece of paper. He says, "Son, we got you doing 77, 79, 81, 83, 86, 88, and 91 miles an hour." I said, "Damn," I said, I had my kids in the back seat. I said, "I think you got me, officer." And I said, "Hey, what may I do to make this easy for you?" And he said, "Well, you might like to know that I'm gonna give you a citation, but if you pay it in 2 weeks, the state of Hawaii will not find out about it. No one will find out about it, right? It'll just be a secret between us, the state of Washington, and you, right? Which is a great enticement. I mean, who wouldn't want to pay that just right away so that no one ever finds out about it?" So he said, "Well, I'll take off that top one there, the 91. I'll write you a ticket for the 88. It was like $175 or something like that." And then about 10 miles later, I got into Idaho, in the Coeur d'Alene area. And so when you're driving through Washington, if you don't see any cops, notice those pylons. Every mile there's a little thingy, and that is for the plane above you. And now I know. And then that also generated the well, there's one more story like that. That generated the realization that I never want to have that happen again. And so, and 70, 75, 80, 85 miles an hour, these are the speed limits out there these days. That's fast enough. You know what I'm saying? Like I need to push my luck and go faster than 80, because I feel like I have to go 5 or 10 miles over, which is the old school thinking that we get, caught up in. And on that note, right? So, the state of Arizona, but also other states too, have places where they have signs that you need to be aware of. They say 0 tolerance or strictly enforced, right? Where it's a 75 mile an hour speed limit, okay? Where you want to be doing 74, okay? Yeah, that means if you're going 1 or 2 miles over the speed limit, they will pull you over and raise money for the Navajo Nation. because that might be on a reservation in Arizona, but other places too. But be aware of that, and that's also more of a reason to go the speed limit, especially when it's so damn fast anyway. You know, you can think about it, like when it's 80, 85 mile an hour speed limit, in 10 hours of driving, you can go 800 miles. That is a pretty good distance, you know. So, anyway, I am going to, on this up and coming road trip, because I don't have a monetized channel, and by this time, there'll be closer to 1 million views, and because I have an issue with trying to just get into the system, and one of the blocks, it says that I don't live in a region where I'm allowed to make money, like I'm in some foreign country or something. I don't know. Anyway, I'm gonna go to San Bruno, to YouTube, and see if there's any such thing at their headquarters as customer service, and see if someone can just help me. Can you help me monetize my channel? I have 1 million views. Would, you know, that's more than qualifies me, plus all the time and all that. Anyway, so that's that's going to be interesting. Perhaps I'll make a video that would not be interesting. Making a YouTube video at YouTube about YouTube, and whether or not they have customer service, we will find out. I do not know. But before I go on my big trip, I'm thinking that just might be a good idea. So, yes, and Joe Biden, would you please legalize marijuana? Thank you very much. Be a good time to do that. America's just been traumatized. Those with a heart and soul have just been traumatized, because it's hard not to feel a whole lot of stuff from this tragedy in Lahaina. It is just absurd. Driving through it is absurd. I hope to, before I go, I hope to get a stand-up board that I can paddle sitting down, get out kind of on the water as close as I can, and just see what's in front of me, and I'll bring my camera and a plastic baggie, I guess. So there's that. Buy Sean's book. It's gonna be a movie someday, so if you get it now, then you'll be like hella cool, because you'll have gotten it before anybody knew it was gonna be a movie or anything like that. You know what I'm saying? So, NorCal by Sean Patrick Finnegan. Son, Audible and Amazon. Which brings up a forever joke. I don't know if any of you have seen the advertisement. I just saw one today for the first time in like a year. But during the pandemic, I had cheap Hulu, $6.99 Hulu. It had advertisements. I saw about 1,000 advertisements, at least, of an advertisement for Peyronie's disease, which seems like a guilt trip for men. Like, you know, Lou Gehrig's disease is a disease. But this is the disease of a curved penis, a bent penis. The website for it, I just saw again, bentcarrot.com, for instance. That's the way they show it, as they show a carrot, and then they talk about the drug that they want to sell you, of course. And so I've seen this advertisement over maybe more than 1,000 times, and I've listened to the disclaimer 1,000 times, and there are some funny aspects to it. Like stretching and straightening exercises for your penis. How do those go down? What does that piece of paper look like? When I was in high school, I hurt my back playing football, and they gave me this piece of paper and said, do these exercises and sleep in this manner, and had these diagrams of the exercises, you know, on paper. And do they give you a diagram when they tell you about how to do your straightening and penis stretching exercises? And what does that piece of paper look like? Anyway, that's what I'm wondering. I don't know about you, but also they talk about how it is more than a 30-degree bend. Okay, that's the criteria for Peyronie's disease. The disease of the curved penis. So, having seen so many of those advertisements, driving around, seeing Amazon symbols everywhere, I just kept thinking, man, that'd be the perfect symbol for Peyronie's disease, the curved penis symbol. Like, Amazon is basically like a curved penis symbol, you know, and so I just couldn't really, I can't get it out of my head. It bothers me forever because I've seen so many of those ads and I see that damn symbol everywhere. So this is a forever joke. If in your future you see the Amazon symbol and you think curved penis, well, an angel will get its wings. And wherever I'm at, I'll get a little chuckle. And it'll be funny forever in your life and mine. May not be funny right now, very much so, or just a little bit funny. But if you think of that in a week, a month, a year, 5 years from now, if you think curved penis when you see Amazon symbol, because that symbol's probably going to be around for a while. Unless he does like what cool guy Spaceman did there at Twitter, changing the whole logo to X. Ooh, anyway, that's weird. So yeah, that's my forever joke. Try not to have that in your head now when you see the Amazon symbol. All right. Thanks for watching. If you don't do any harm to yourself or others, don't do crime. So don't gamble, because that's doing harm to yourself. And if you're inclined to do crime or harm, do less. Become super lazy and do lazy stuff, or work in your garden, or take a nap, or drink a beer, or whatever. Play some video games, read a book. Just avoid doing harm or crime. It's so easy to do less. You know what I'm saying? Anyway, yeah, and don't forget, tip 20%. Thanks for watching. All good things, all good time. Talking story style. All right. Aloha.